Hey, what's up guys? For today's video, I'm going to go over my 3 favorite bass sounds and how to make them from scratch. I apologize for the last video, I had no sound, so we're going to get it this time. So here are the 3 sounds. We have a yoy, we have a wamp, and we have the sine flutter. Go ahead and open each one, give you a quick rundown. Feel free to screen grab these and copy them. We'll go ahead and make them from scratch right after as well though. So with the yoy, it's a square wave plus a band pass and some downsample distortion. Downsample and the band pass are really gonna change the style of the yoy. So let's go ahead and do this from scratch. We're gonna go with basic shapes. That's gonna be for each sound today. Basic shapes are the best. And we're going to take a band 24 and let's just try to find a sweet spot with the filter. Give it a little drive. Put the same LFO on the level. And then really just the only trick here is downsample. So if we do downsample distortion, get all these different types of yoys, and depending on where the filter is and where the distortion is, we'll get kind of different styles. Let's give it a little more resonance. Yeah, it sounds much better. And then also the sound sounds kind of thin and ugly because we have no low end. So let's go ahead and add the sub. And then let's add some white noise. Pro tip, put your white noise on bipolar. So I'm doing Shift and Alt to do that. So now white noise only comes in at the top half of our LFO. Makes it a little more percussive and clean. There we go. So once you find that sweet spot with the distortion and the filter, you could go ahead and kind of spice it up a little bit with some stereo effects. I like chorus and hyperdimension, using them like this. And then we could top all this off with some multi-band compression. And now wherever we move the filter or the distortion, gives us all different types of yoys. Okay, so let's go on to the wamp sound. So the trick here is going to be distorting low frequencies with high frequencies. More importantly, the low frequencies, and I'll demonstrate that very soon. It's really important to understand the relationship between low frequencies and distortion. It's how you get thick, clean bass sounds. So let's go ahead and initialize this. And we're going to do 2 basic shapes. Like I said, we want a low clean tone, and then we're going to combine it with a higher frequency. So if we go up 3 octaves plus 7 semitones, that's 3 octaves plus a fifth, which in music theory, a fifth is 7 semitones above your root note. And this tends to just sound very good to the human ear tonally. So it tends to be a really good combo when you're trying to add these higher tones to your bass tones, to your bass sounds. So you'll hear, if we go ahead and distort these together, we get this nice grit. But if we apply bandpass filter, it suddenly sounds kind of bad. And that's because now there's no low end going into our distortion. So the way we can fix that is by simply taking a sub and having it not on direct out and not going through the filter. So now this sub is going through the distortion along with these 2 shapes, which are getting filtered together. So now we get some of that grit back. So if we add some resonance and some drive, we could start to find the sweet spot. And we're also going to want to put the LFO on the levels of each oscillator here. And then let's also give this some white noise. And again, we're going to put it on bipolar mode. So now we have a nice grit, nice shape. It's nice and distorted. Let's bring it to life with a little bit of stereo effects. And then we'll top it all off with the multi-band compressor. now depending on where the filter is, so we can get a ton of variations simply by just changing the octave of this, changing the filter around, and even like the amount and type of distortion. All gonna give us nice different types of tonalities and timbres. Okay, so let's do the sine flutter. This is my favorite one for sure. It's basically just 2 sine waves, but let's go ahead and make it from scratch. Let's do basic shapes, sine waves on each. And we're gonna put this one up 3 and a 5th. Again, that 5th plus the octave sounds super good when you're trying to get those nice tonalities. And let's go ahead and just put a fast LFO on each of these. Make sure you're enabling triplet and dotted as well. That's where all the cool rhythms are. Do not be afraid of those. So now we're starting to get that kind of tone, right? Let's go ahead and add some white noise, again, on bipolar mode. We're gonna do a low pass filter on all of them. So the oscillator A, oscillator B, and the noise. And this just to add a little bit more dynamics, make it a little bit more interesting. Add a little drive. And then we're also going to want to put mono, always, and porta on. This is going to help us glide into each note. Sounds super cool in my opinion. And then another thing we're going to want to do is to crank up the smooth. This is going to do exactly what it says. It's going to smooth out our sound. Nice and smooth. So let's go ahead and give this a little bit of tube distortion. We don't want too much. If you want that effect, go for that. But I want the nice soft sine feeling. So we're just going to push this till we start to hear that distortion. And we could add some hyper and some chorus. I really like the hyper on this sound, so I'm going to let that stay kind of high up. Maybe just do a little dimension and a little bit of chorus. And as always, top it all off with some multi-band. And then I'm going to cut out the low end and give it a small reverb, very, very small reverb, and then do a sub on direct out. So now we have this long sub note holding underneath our kind of wobbly sound. And now if we mess with the octaves, mess with the shape, you get all sorts of variations. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. These are my 3 favorite sounds. I think all of them, knowing how to make all these are going to make you much better at sound design. Just kind of understand some of the fundamentals. The biggest takeaway here is distortion plus low end. So like usual, I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments other types of videos you guys want to see. And also check out my Patreon if you want to get these sounds plus a bunch of other ones and a bunch of other videos just like this one. Peace.